Hello, guys. I'm Sudarshan, a Starshine Star. How are all of you doing? I hope this finds you very well on this beautiful Tuesday. It is February 24th, 2026. I have a channel on YouTube called It's the Dazzling of the Light, or you can just go to YouTube and type in at Sudarshan, a Starshine Star to access my well over 300 podcast clips there now. And there's a couple of actual videos of me there in a short playlist. You can check that out if you like. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe if you're on my YouTube channel. Get notified. Join the channel. Why not? It's pretty fun. If listening to this on any other social media, why not heart it, thumbs up it, drop your comments. Let me know what you think, or put some emojis out there to express yourself. Keep it respectful, though. We don't have to agree, but it really works to be able to have a nice communication, conversation, discourse if we just keep some respect there. And allow people, to believe what they believe and have their opinions. I mean, this is the way of being healthy communication, right? Without shutting people down. All right. So I published a podcast yesterday, and well, before I get into that, I like to begin all of my podcasts with the 3 opening prayers, which are in Sanskrit and Telugu, and they're very short. This is to bless, uplift, purify, and protect you, me, and this clip. They are the Guru Mantra, the Ganesha Mantra, and the Gayatri Mantra. And before I do that, I command on the sacred blood of Jesus the Christ to flow over all of us, to wash over all of us and bless us, and all of our human beloveds, and all of our animal beloveds, all throughout creation. Yes, all throughout realms, all throughout the astral, all throughout the cosmos. Yes. Thank you, Yeshua. Please cast out all satanics and all satanic attachments. Cast out all demonics and all demonic attachments. Yeshua, cast out the spirit of pain. Cast out the spirit of fear. Cast out the spirit of lack, poverty, scarcity. Cast out mental illness, illusion, delusion, fogginess, confusion, lack of clarity. Cast out self-rejection, self-dislike, self-hatred, low self-esteem, low self-confidence, feeling unworthy. And also cast out the projection of that onto anyone or anything else, as well as the reception of that from anyone or anything else. Thank you. Yeshua, please send your healing presence now. Please heal the wounds in our souls. Jesus the Christ, thank you so much. We receive your holy divine presence, your blessings, and your divine protection. I also command on the sacred presence of Mother Mary to be here with us in this eternal moment ever more fully, even though we know she's always with us, as is Yeshua. And we know that Yeshua and Mother Mary are for everyone. This is far beyond any religion. This is spirit in spirit, and it is for everyone, because everyone is divine consciousness, divine essence, divine soul, spirit incarnated into that which we call matter, or just heavier forms of condensed light. So it's not about religion. Although if you love your religion and it works for you and brings good fruits to you, beautiful, thumbs up. And it's not hurting you or hurting anyone else, good. Mother Mary, please embrace us, uplift us, soothe us, comfort us, imbue us with your unconditional divine mother's love, and also your fierce heart, the courage and the bravery that exist in your heart and in your presence, as well as the teaching that you give to us and the boundaries that you draw for us, for your children, so that we can learn and we can be our best selves. Thank you so much, Yeshua. Thank you so much, Mary. Amen. Svaha. And now to the prayers. Om, Om, Om. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahmam, Tasmahi Sri Guruve Namaha. Om Suklam Bharataram Vishnum Seshivarnam Chatobhujam Prasanavaranam Dhyaye Sarva Vignopashantaye Om Bhur Suvaha Tatsavitur Varenyam Bhago Devasya Dhimahi Diyo Yonaha Prachodayat Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Wonderful. Wonderful. So let's see. The podcast that I published yesterday, I spoke a little bit at the end about how I was thinking of publishing this podcast about Iran that I had been doing research on and gathering information on for several days, but I really don't know if I'm going to do that now. I kind of put it in a short synopsis, my POV about Iran, to separate out we the people of Iran who've suffered greatly under this like 50 years plus satanic Ayatollah regime and the IRCG, the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Forces. Separate them from that regime. Yes, so I'm wishing the best for we the people of Iran. I want them to be able to be sovereign and have their freedom. And I want that for really we the people of this earth realm. And I am praying for everyone. But I don't know if I'm going to publish that, even though I know right now a lot of people are on tenterhooks because the USA has a lot of huge ships just, ready to go if some action is needed, all very close to Iran. And yeah, it is tense. And the situation in Mexico, and just God bless all the people there. I hope all the Americans and Canadians and people were able to, or in the process of departing without being harmed, and also all the peoples of Mexico, because, yeah, like everywhere else for the most part, they didn't deserve to have a narco-terrorist state, just like, South America and Central America, all these places that have been so controlled and puppeted by the satanic controllers. And so much of that poison and vitriol pointed towards the United States of America because we are the free nation, even though that hasn't been exactly true in the way that most Americans think it has been for a long time. So this is the reclamation time. It's the end times. It's the end times for the evils, the satanic controllers and their minions. And it's the baby stepping into the glorious reclamation of we the people of this earth realm. And we can never really go back in the past, and there's a lot of stuff in the past that was a lot it's very distorted, history, as they say. The victors write the history books, but humans are amazing. The real humans are amazing. Yes, they are very special in this entire creation. Even though the off-world beings that hate humanity or are jealous of humanity's natural abilities and the satanic controllers, they have done their best to always, try to shoot down anyone who has like some healthy self-confidence and self-esteem, because they are a divine child of Mother, Father, God. And we're created with amazing abilities, even though they might be latent. They're there. All of the creation is inside each one of us. But the satanic controllers and the minions, they wanted us to believe like we're just like unworthy, like a speck of dust. They always say, look how small you are compared to everything else. But just like a drop in an ocean, a drop of ocean water has the same components as the entire ocean. You don't have to hold the ocean, any ocean in its entirety. Or like my Swami used to say, you don't have to drink the entire ocean, which you can't anyway, to know what it is and what it contains. You just need, or you can drink a drop of ocean water. So I'm going off on a tangent here because I'm doing something that I've wanted to do for a while, but I just had so many other things I wanted to put out, and I still do. I listened to my inner guidance. So several hours ago, I got the inner guidance to not go ahead with, I was going to do something, and I'm not going to give a time on it, because lately when I say I'll do something and then I don't put it out the next day, it's like my word is getting broken by that. But it is It's going to be pretty intense little subject there. Maybe not a long clip. But right now what I'm going to do is I'm not reading from the beginning. I have this wonderful book called An Eternal Plan to Save Souls, Save America, Save the World. Always Trumps a Human Plan by the wonderful Shelia Holm. And her last name is spelled Holm. Maybe many of you are familiar with her. She is an incredible warrioress of God. She's an incredible patriot, and she has many books. You can go on Amazon even, and Shelia Holm, Holm, and see her long list of books. But she has had a life of, she's incredibly accomplished. She's done so many things, but she has really been giving a thorough going over by the satanic controllers and the areas that she was involved in. She really had all these black robe judges and this whole satanic Temple of the Bar warped, distorted judicial system that really is being cleaned out now in the United States of America. She has so many experiences, so she's not someone who's just like a Pollyanna, who just like eats crackers, sits on a bench and spouts out these euphemisms like, try to make people feel good or something. She's not like that at all. And I just felt guided, and I'm not starting from the beginning of this book. I just opened to where I just felt my inner guidance wanted to read. So that's what I'm going to do. And one thing to say, though, Shelia has written according to dictation from whom she calls Father, Divine Father, who wanted her to do not just books, but kind of training manuals like this one. It's written actually backwards. It's written in such a way that a person that didn't know about the satanic controllers or the true history of the earth realm and beyond would be able to find out very simply how these satanic controllers instituted like a 45-point, very structured, organized plan against humanity. And even though right now, at this moment, because of the Epstein files and different things, a lot of people are waking up to things that maybe they heard and they thought, oh, those people are just conspiracy theorists, or they're just, loco or whatever. But now so much is coming to the light, and there will be a lot more, because this really is just the tip of the iceberg. It's really hard to fathom what is under the surface of that has been hidden from the bulk of humanity. Okay, so let me read this. It says, it's on page 162 at the bottom. It says, "We have not aligned with the Lord's feasts and festivals," from Leviticus 23. "We have participated and aligned with the other kingdom," she means the devil kingdom, "and the generations of children were taught to align also, starting with nursery rhymes when the children are young. A sample of a nursery rhyme with a specific message against Father's plan for the children. Think of the lamb as Christ when you read this verse. Mary had a little lamb. Mary had a little lamb. Its fleece was white as snow, and everywhere that Mary went, the lamb was sure to go. It followed her to school one day, which was against the rule. It made the children laugh and play to see a lamb at school. And so the teacher turned it out, but still it lingered near, and waited patiently about till Mary did appear. Why does the lamb love Mary so? The eager children cry. Why, Mary loves the lamb, the teacher did reply. Now the message is that the lamb / Christ is not allowed in the public school. A simple nursery rhyme with a significant timely message before making public school attendance compulsory in 1850. Sarah Josepha Hale, or Josepha Hale, wrote the rhyme published in 1830. Published in Boston, exactly as the New England primer used by the Pilgrims to educate the children was published in 1777. Interesting that the rhyme was published exactly 20 years before 1850, when compulsory public school attendance was required. Not sure if the Pilgrims knew that 20 in the other kingdom means recycle unto death. Every 20 year in each century, there has been a huge pandemic which unalived a significant number of people, with records available for 1320, 1420, 1520, 1620, 1720, 1820, 1920, and the ultimate time for a GENO side plan in history in 2020. A Native American nursery rhyme, which confirms a completely different message, is based upon a mother who prepares for the baby to be rocked while she is able to complete other tasks. The Muskogee tribe is credited with establishing the Rockabye Baby nursery rhyme, which has become the Hush Little Baby lullaby. It was a message about the process of a mother positioning the unique cradle design which would rock the baby due to the breeze. And listener, there's a nice little illustration here of an Indian squaw of the Muskogee tribe on her knees on a river embankment by the side of a teepee, and there's like a tree branch there, and her little papoose is all wrapped up and it's hanging very secure, but it's hanging from that branch so it would sway back and forth like, rock it. Anyway, so with the expansion of messages like Mary had a little lamb versus the message of the Muskogee tribe, the Pilgrims knew what the people were aligning with in Europe due to participating in the church structure and witnessing that the structure was wrong. 1. Meet on the venerable day of the sun. 2. A day named Sunday, honoring the sun god. 3. Rulers wearing the sun god ring. 4. Changing the days of the week, starting with the Sunday. 5. Changing all of the calendar days and months in 1582 to honor Pope Gregory. Gregorian calendar removed 10 days in the fall. At the time of the birth of Christ, Feast of Tabernacles, the calendar became the global calendar, which is still used today. And I'm sure most of you know before that it was the Julian calendar. Okay, and before that it was many other different things, but we're just keeping it relatively in the relatively recent past. All right. Pilgrims knew the rulers since ancient times worshipped the sun god on the day of the sun, Sunday. They wore the sun god ring, and they did not want the people to have a Sabbath day of rest with the Father on a different day, or know the truth confirmed in the Bible. The baton was passed on to the next generation without question. The depth of the lies hidden from us was due to proceeding without sharing information learned during the prior generation or generations. Now, all truth is being passed on to us to share with the next generation and continue to pass on to the future generations. And then she shows a little visual here of a book by Shelia Holm called A Warrior's Battlefield Strategy Devotional. Now this is the beginning of chapter 6, and it's called Warriors for the Lord. The fact is that we are the warriors who are boots on the ground to fulfill our purpose while we are here. This fact seems to get lost in the busyness of daily life, with confusion created all around us in the world, to redirect us to align with the world. After a 7-year conversation with the Lord about not wanting to write a devotional, I was not drawn into the project due to all of the daily messages shared on social media that were pleasant, but seemed like fluff, especially since people forgot the message by the next day. When Father's request became focused on helping people depart from the world process of fear, and the devotional would include the fear not verses each day, I said yes, without a moment of hesitation. Why? I believed a phrase I had heard so many times I thought it was true without questioning in my mind. I knew the process would be easy. Wrong. What I personally believed to be true was a lie. There are more than 365 fear not scriptures in the Bible. The quote was even stated in the movie featuring football, Facing the Giants. Loved the film, but the quote was a lie. In fact, the man who stated the quote was the highly respected football coach for the Georgia Bulldogs team at the University of Georgia in Athens at that time. Since he stated the phrase in the film, it was given extra credibility, but it was still a lie. Truth. Research proved. Only 145 fear not scriptures. Yikes. Project seemed like it was becoming a nightmare. At the time, I thought Father was silent. Wrong. Father was patient. Next instruction. Research scriptures on doubt and unbelief. Great process. However, still not close to 365. Then Father prompted me to research reverential fear, which results in divine protection. There are amazing examples of divine protection in my life and in the famous battle where a Native American Indian chief who returned in 1770, 15 years after the 1755 battle, to tell George Washington that he witnessed the divine protection of the Lord on Washington's life. The chief told his warriors to direct all shots at the leaders so the troops would scatter. The chief said his gun does not miss, and he fired his gun 17 times at Washington. When none of the shots fired were unaliving the leaders, the chief knew Father was protecting them, so he told his warriors to stop. They did. They went home. In the process of learning the truth that divine protection, status of reverential fear, is our reward, Father was repeatedly reminding me in the midst of extreme circumstances I experienced that we are, eternal, fully protected. We just forget. Then, regarding this book, when Father confirmed to me, now that you know the enemy knew how to counter my plan, you realize my problem is my people do not know my plan. The status he was revealing to me was due to his plan for me, his request for me to do something about it, and it felt overwhelming. At the time, it could have been a funny moment with the Father when he said, "That is a lie." It was not funny in that moment. It was a big ouch. When Father asked me for a training manual to help current and future generations realize the plans of the enemy, which countered Father's plan, it seemed impossible. However, Father did not hesitate for one moment. He reminded me that all things are possible, and immediately I knew it is true, and I would not be doing it alone. Plus, Father trained me for these days, and he made sure the new publisher needed me to review every note about the 18 books for the new website, which I knew Father arranged, because this book is full of new information, and yet it covers my training over the past 35 years. Trusting, I started young. My experience at 4 years old in the meadow on our family farm, remember? Briefly, marching like a little soldier in the meadow with hands on hips and red hair flowing, while telling God repeatedly, "They're really nice people, but they just don't get it." A visual brought back to my memory with Father gently asking me, "Don't you want to do what I want you to do?" While Father shows me with tears flowing and how my words came easy, "I will do anything you want me to do." He knew the enemy would sift, test every cell in me, but he promised I would not be alone. He has kept his promise through so many storms. This is why Father wanted a training manual versus book. In my mind, my books have changed significantly the past 10 years. So how could I write something for future generations? Each time I think I am not worthy of this assignment, Father shows me how the enemy destroyed the people and families in prior generations, and the nations, people, in the current generation. The encouragement and love of the Father keeps me going because I have seen the impact upon the lives of returning veterans who served in so many nations while they were unaware that we were being destroyed. I've seen more and more families torn apart by the indoctrination process through public education, putting creative students on drugs to restrain them in the classroom, trafficking of children, young people, and young mothers, while we are to see to the needs of the fatherless. So the assignment is clear. If we do not choose truth in our daily lives, then future generations are doomed to experience this status or even worse if we do not change and become the example. It was never about schools requiring prayer, Bibles, 10 Commandments. What was destroyed on purpose? Every single layer of the family, from every angle. Victory for the other kingdom. Father has repeatedly positioned me and connected me to gain the truth, the research documentation which would not be possible to obtain from any sources in the world unless he provides it to me again and again. He has caused me to stand in awe of how much he loves us, that he will do whatever it takes to bring us through this storm if we seek him. He has the answers for us. We only have to stay on the battlefield for the sake of those who do not know him yet. This is not just my challenge. This challenge is our challenge. It is a global challenge. Ready to take on the challenge? If so, the secret is power. That's right. It's all about our power in his might. What does it mean to say we have Christ in your heart? All of the scriptures strengthening us become real in battle. 1. Where we are weak, he is strong. 2. What can mere mortals do to us? What is missing? The secret. Father arranged for us to be joint heirs with Christ. We align with the Father, thanking Father for the fact we also have the power and authority when we are in the battle. Therefore, the secret is, we have resurrection power. This was revealed to me for the first time in person the night I met Nancy Haney, and she shared her brand new testimony in January 2015 in Macon, Georgia. Nancy experienced a severe stroke. She was completely disabled and required full care. She was unable to function, unable to use her arms or legs, to speak or to eat. Her mind was still very active, and she was scheduled to travel to Georgia in a few days, so she was a challenging patient for the hospital staff. The main doctor was called to Nancy's room to lecture her about her status. The doctor was confirming that Nancy would be in the hospital for a long time, and in rehab for many months or years before she could walk or speak again, let alone feed herself. When the doctor and staff members left the room, Nancy tried to move her left leg. To her surprise, her leg moved over the side of the bed. However, without the ability to control anything, Nancy's body continued to move until she crashed on the floor. The doctor and staff members were still close to her room, so they heard what happened and ran back into the room. It took 4 staff members to lift Nancy back on the bed. The doctor's lecture was more severe this time than moments ago. Nancy did not have a way to respond, beyond the tears which she was unable to control. After the doctor left her room, Nancy repented to Father and confirmed her schedule and her life are in his hands, and if she is to lay in the hospital bed for months or years, she is willing to do whatever she can do to fully serve him. In that moment, Nancy felt as though the cardiac blue cart paddles were placed on her chest because her entire body raised up several inches off the bed. It was so immediate, Nancy heard her own voice as she said, "What was that?" It shocked her so much she sat up in bed. Then she moved her arms and legs and started praising the Father as she got out of bed and started dancing around the room, singing and praising. The doctor and staff members heard Nancy and rushed back into the room. The doctor asked Nancy, "What happened?" Nancy responded with the words Father was telling her in that moment. 3rd day resurrection power. Coincidence? It was Nancy's 3rd day in the hospital. The doctor was shocked, but her only option was to immediately arrange for Nancy to be discharged from the hospital. Father told Nancy to have her husband take her to Niagara Falls. Nancy lived in Alaska, so a trip to Niagara Falls was a unique request. However, her husband knew Father miraculously healed Nancy, so the trip was immediately arranged with a couple of their friends to go along as witnesses. When Father revealed the location for Nancy to get out of the car, her husband hesitated. Nancy showed her husband the unique landmark where she was going to be after he parked the car, so he agreed to let Nancy get out of the car. Father asked Nancy, "What do you see?" Nancy said, "A lot of water." Father asked again, "Nancy, tell me what you see." Nancy was praying, focusing while the truth was clear to her that she saw a lot of water. She only knew that she could describe what she was seeing, so she told Father, "I see a river beyond the falls, and it looks like the water flows into the river again as it continues." And while Nancy was describing more about the fact she saw a lot of water, Father spoke through Nancy. Power! The word was so strong, as it was spoken through her, Nancy experienced the depth of the message while Father confirmed the truth to her. Resurrection power is greater than the power of Niagara Falls. The testimony was so powerful. I shared it in one of my books. When I shared it, Father told me I have to tell the people how much power is in Niagara Falls. What? Father was silent, and I trusted in the moment. I was feeling the power that Nancy felt when she stood at the special landmark at Niagara Falls, and she did not know how to answer Father. Gently, Father prompted me to research how much energy Niagara Falls produces for the people. Wow! The American side alone produces the power for more than 3.8 million homes. In that exact moment, while I was taking in the magnitude of who we are in Him, Father gave me a unique assignment. Tell my people to start tapping into it. Immediately, Father was giving me confirmations of what we, the people, could accomplish if we just start tapping into the power within us, because Christ resides in our heart. Father was also reminding me of the deep message he gave me in July of 1999, after a man in Christian leadership said he was supposed to bless me more than the rental car and the expenses, but he left on an earlier flight, and the gas tank was empty. I was so upset. I kept complaining to Father for hundreds of miles, even though the gas gauge moved to full before I entered the 5 freeway. Father asked me to exit the freeway at an exit that only had a business building to the right. Father asked me to pull into the parking lot. I was really not happy, so I said, "There is not even a gas station to get something cold to drink." Crazy as it may seem, Father had to remind me that I did not have money to buy something cold to drink. As soon as I turned into the parking lot, I was in the glory with the Father. He asked me to get some paper and pen to write down the message to give the man who did not give me the blessing. Not enough of my men are preparing and putting on their steel-toed boots to march with me, so I'm having to call forth my women, even my widows and my orphans, to prepare my army to march with me before the sunrise, and that's spelled capital S-O-N, sunrise. Almost 25 years ago, Father made his plan urgent for us. It was an emotional status because the man Father asked me to give the message to was a former NFL football player, a Green Beret in the Army, and an iron worker on New York high-rises. Exactly why Father used the Army term and steel-toed boots, a fact I did not know. When I called the man to deliver the message, he told me that he asked the Lord, "Who is this woman?" God's vision of me showed the man how the mouse is to the elephant, confirmed as the body of Christ. He said I was so persistent, shouting for the elephant to move, but I was ignored. Plus, during all attempts while I was biting on the back ankles, swinging on the tail and shouting, "Move!" and even as I ran to the left ear, bit the left ear, and shouted, "Move!" But I would not stop there. I ran to the right ear, bit the ear many times, and shouted until the elephant took the first step. Then he told me that God showed him that he was still biting on the back ankles, while my effort caused the body of Christ to move. Now in 2024, the body of believers are awake and moving. In 2017, after the first book in my series, For the Sake of America, was released, a prophet was told that if he wants to get a word to President Trump, the person to call is Shelia Holm. The prophet called. I laughed. His call came in while I was visiting family in the Midwest, so I asked if we could talk during my drive to Georgia the next day. When he called, I was about 10 or 15 minutes from the Paducah, Kentucky turn to continue through Nashville to be in North Georgia for a meeting the next morning. The facts about my life that the man was sharing could only have come from the Lord, as I did not know him and he did not know me. He only had my phone number from the Hebrew scholar Bill Morford for his plan to call me and have me get a prophetic word to President Trump. Needless to say, I missed my turn. The information was so specific and deep, I drove an hour and a half in the wrong direction, missing my turn at Paducah, and I was almost to Memphis before I realized I was in trouble with the travel plan. Briefly, the message was given to confirm to me that I was not living my life as Job, even though everything was taken from me many times. He gave me the specifics to confirm I am here as a Joseph. He confirmed, Father has brought you up out of the pit and placed you before governors and kings around the world, because you made an agreement with Father before you came, that you would do whatever it takes to, and this is in all caps, listener, save America. He told me that if I would go to the Father about this, Father would confirm it as the truth. Father was already confirming as the words were spoken. I was already asking Father, it is a huge project for one person, even though I know you are with me and you will continue to guide me. But I would like a really big confirmation. 4 years and 6 books later, when President Trump returned to Mar-a-Lago and released his new stationery, in all caps, Save America, exactly matching the vision Father gave me in 2017. Father gently asked, is this confirmation big enough? Tears. When we operate in power and authority with Father in unity, can we even begin to imagine what we can accomplish together? Hope. It is becoming easier to see how we fell for the lies. Over the generations, the lies have infiltrated every aspect of our daily lives. With the research on the points, it becomes clear that we will know how to live our life with the Father in the future with His wisdom available to us and resurrection power to help us complete each assignment. After Father gave me the answer to the question about what happened to the land and who owns the land, a topic President Trump did not mention during the Tucker Carlson interview because the truth was not known yet, Father prompted the same prophet who gave me the message in 2017 about being a Joseph. On June 13th, 2024, Father prompted the prophet, call Shelia immediately and tell her, everything I am revealing to her will seal their fate. Father encouraged me and confirmed the message the moment it was delivered. Trusting it is becoming easier to see truth, realize truth, and the value of truth. It is clearly the difference between life and death. Important to watch what we say. Words are life or death. Not knowing how significant the relationship with our Father is, and how we are to align with His will, as Christ taught us to pray, seeking Father in all things, for it is only through Him that all things are possible. Alone, we did not live with Him in truth, discern lies. Now we know with Him, Aleph, we have truth and life. With Him, and excuse me, listener, I don't speak Hebrew, so this word, I'm probably going to pronounce it. Echad. We have absolute unity. There is only one Lord over all, truth and life. Truth, the 10 Commandments versus 7 Noahide laws. Which 3 commandments missing in Noahide laws? Now, again, listener, I've spoken about this so much on my YouTube channel, and most of you might be aware of this, but there's a huge difference between the actual real Hebrews and the missing tribes of Israel, the actual real Hebrews, and the pretenders, which as Jesus called them and punished them when he was still in that lifetime, the synagogue of Satan. They pretend to be righteous. They put yarmulkes on. They say that they are JEWSs. They pretend to go to temple and shul and do all these things. But really, in their private time and in tunnels and in their homes and secret meeting places, most of them under the structure so they can't be found, they're worshiping Satan. They're worshiping Moloch. They're worshiping Baphomet. They're worshiping their forms like that, and they have done for thousands and thousands of years. So they are the fake JEWSs, like perfect example, the Rothschilds. And even the Rockefellers, because the Rockefellers used to be Rothschilds, and then they changed their surname, like the children of Cain, like the seed of the serpent, like this dark bloodline that calls himself elites, that when they came out of ancient Sumer and Babylonia, and then infiltrated into ancient Egypt and ancient Rome, and then into the rest of Europe, and then into Asia and Central Asia and Africa and the Americas, etc., 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 everywhere. Anyway, so the Noahide laws are what the fake JEWSs are also known as, being called the Khazarian Mafia, coming out of Khazaria, which Khazaria is present-day Ukraine. And I've spoken about that several times. So you can go to my YouTube channel and check out the Controller series, the Real series. You can scroll down and look at things, but I'm not going to go into that right now again in this moment. So Sheila asks, Which three commandments missing in Noahide laws? And Noahide is spelled Noahide. Not honoring Sabbath, keeping it holy, not honoring mother and father, not honoring truth, no problem bearing false witness. September 30th, 2016. Alabama Court of the Judiciary suspended Alabama Chief Justice Roy Moore for the remainder of his term, 2013 to 2017, for defying federal court rulings. Wait, let me see where this is going to go. I'm not going to go into that. I'm skipping over that page. It's just a lot of information that just... Oh, wait, let me go to the bottom of that. Sheila says, Noahide laws to replace 10 Commandments. House Joint Resolutions replaced 10 Commandments with the 7 Babylonian Noahide laws, claimed as founding of a moral and civil society in America. Honored a rabbi, a Babylonian rabbi. 1993, Judge Moore generates controversy by opening court sessions with a prayer seeking divine guidance for jurors. 1992, Circuit Judge Moore controversy by displaying carved wood plaque of 10 Commandments in his courtroom. Then number 104, 1992, signed by President number 41, George H.W. He's not really Bush, as we've gone over so many times on my YouTube channel, and you'll hear it, other people say it. The Bushes were really serfs, German nobility, N-A-Z-I, and also British nobility. Serfs spelled S-C-H-E-R-F, or sometimes people put double F there. But like the Khazarian Mafia always do, they switch their surnames around so you don't know who's who. I mean, I say this so many times, it's like practically I need it on a t-shirt, but so you won't be like, why is everyone a Rothschild? Why is that a Rothschild? Why is the postman a Rothschild? Why is everyone a Rockefeller? Why is everyone this and that? You don't even know who they are. They change their surnames, they hide their allegiances, etc., etc. So, number 104, 1992, signed by President number 41, George H.W. Scherf, going by Bush. And number 410, 1993, signed by President number 42, Bill Clinton, expanding the Noahide laws into the education system in 1993. And I've shared so many times, again, listeners, that Bill Clinton was actually a bastard Rockefeller. His grandfather, Winthrop Rockefeller, had a big compound in Maine where Bill would go and frolic every summer with all of his other little Khazarian Mafia Rockefeller cousins, including Hillary Clinton, who I saw the family photo of. I have things I'm speaking about, I'm not just pulling from the air. I've seen not digital but analog photos and old court documents and deathbed testimonies, and I've talked about this so much on my YouTube channel. So little Hillary Clinton was kneeling in a quote-unquote Bush family photo, the Scherfs, and looked like about 7 years old, and that Hillary Clinton's real name was Kelsey Bush, or Kelsey Scherf. All right. So, Bill's cousin. Then Sheila wrote, copy of Noahide laws, House Joint Resolutions and references. I'm going to end this out here. Chapter 7, who disciples you? Who disciples you? Important to remember, we are joint heirs with Christ. Therefore, we are a holy nation, a peculiar people. We do not think alike, we are not given the same assignments, and we are not here to align with man or to become a member of a cult. We are here to live with Him, guided by Him to fulfill our purpose. Aleph in Hebrew is the letter and the name of the Lord of all. Truth and life, Hebrew, Emet. 3 letters, Alf, Mem, Tav. Death in Hebrew, Met. 2 letters, Mem, Tav, without God. The Lord of all placed His signature across America between 2017 and 2024 with the exact path of 3 eclipses. Number 1 in 2017 passed through 7 cities of Salem/Peace. Number 2 in 2024 formed the top of the Aleph letter. 2024 eclipse passed through 9 cities of Nineveh, Nineveh, and that was in ancient Babylon, listeners. Book of Noah. Book of Jonah. Father sent Jonah to warn the king he would be overtaken in 40 days in 712 BC, 9 years after tribes of Israel taken captive by king of Assyria in 721 BC. Book of Nahum, spelled Nahum. Father protected the tribes in 612 BC when king of Assyria was dealt with. Nineveh today is Mosul in Iraq. 6 in Hebrew. And I can't even say this, listener, so let me just try. Ruach HaKodesh / Holy Spirit. Tight relationship, connection with the Lord. Hebrew words often have more than one meaning. Father confirms the exact meaning in the exact moment. 6 has many meanings: man, beast, tent peg, etc. When I shared the facts regarding the 3 eclipses in 7 years in the green room at Reawaken in Branson, Missouri in November 2022, what Father revealed through me was not known. Only 2017 and 2014 eclipses were included on the maps and in conversations, with the focus upon where the 2 eclipses crossed and people calling it a target, an X. The people insisted was a sign that Father was targeting America and major judgment was going to happen. The Mississippi River was going to break in half, splitting America. An earthquake always happens. It will cause a tsunami that will destroy the eastern seaboard. Cicadas hidden 200 years. Fear topics were abundant and used to speak against the message I was sharing, to inform the people about the special message due to the 3 major eclipses in 3 years, instead of 1 eclipse about every 25 to 30 years. Interesting that not one source apologized about their message after 3rd eclipse. I'm not a scientist, a geologist, or someone who knows anything about eclipses, earthquakes, tsunamis, or cicadas. However, what I was saying was as much a shock to me as it was to the people in the green room. What came out of my mouth started with the fact that the X they thought would be a problem is not an X, it is a cross. Father is not targeting America. He is giving us a message, a sign. There will be an eclipse in 2023 and then 2024 that will form 2 crosses with 2023 and 2017 eclipses. Truth in Hebrew. Clip in references. In that moment, I was not aware of a 2023 eclipse, and I did not know it would form 2 crosses. Father knew. As soon as I got home, I immediately started researching, and it took a long time to find the 2023 eclipse, since it was not a focus by the available sources in 2022. Finally, when I stopped doing the research my way, Father revealed the form of the 3 eclipses. I immediately sent the information to a great graphics artist. He prepared the beautiful map from a very dull map I found on the internet with a rough sketch to include the eclipse in 2023. He also printed and framed the maps for me to present, one to General Flynn and one to Clay Clark at the next Reawaken in Nashville, Tennessee in January 2023. It was a great investment which proved the full message Father wanted us to know about the 3 eclipses in 7 years when the 3rd eclipse happened on April 8th, 2024. Because I was doing so many interviews about the topic, the scare tactics began long before the 3rd eclipse in 2024. Number 1, the Mississippi River will splitting America. Number 2, there will be a huge earthquake followed by a tsunami. Always happens after a full solar eclipse. Note, did not happen in 2017 or 2023. Every solar eclipse is a full solar eclipse. 3, there are 7, not 6 Nineveh cities. 8, counting one in Canada. 4, the cicadas from underground the past 200 years. Billions of cicadas and billions of various bugs will rise up and destroy crops across the nation. Note, called Cicada-geddon versus Armageddon. 5, disruptions to communication. 6, disruptions to traffic lights, causing traffic accidents. The truth is the truth, and only the truth is the truth. Interview hosts who interviewed me after the 2017 eclipse, even a host who was in the same area of Georgia I was during the 2017 eclipse, knew it did not happen in 2017, and yet she announced the grim earthquake and tsunami prediction after I confirmed the truth with her during the commercial break. Important to know the truth and speak the truth. Truth direct from Father is what we need going forward. The Faith Monument. The truth is evident in the Faith Monument, which the Pilgrims designed. It is located in Plymouth, Massachusetts. Lie. The National Monument to the Forefathers. Title changed. Truth. Faith Monument. Title at the top of the monument by the Pilgrims. 4 pillars confirm how to train up a child in the way he shall go, so he will not depart from it when he is old. Lie. Georgia Guidestones were promoted globally as the tallest granite monument in America at 19 feet. Truth. Faith Monument, 4.3 times taller at 81 feet. And then she shows pictures of this. The Faith Monument is very beautiful. And it's been renamed National Monument to the Forefathers. And you know what happened to the Georgia Guidestones. The White Hats smashed that sucker a couple years ago. Just bulldozed it right quick. And then Sheila said the Faith Monument confirms Father's plan for us. So that's the end of that. Please like, share, and subscribe and get notified. Give me your comments. What did you think about that? Your emojis. Drop them. I like to see them. It was unusual for me to do this, but I just follow my inner guidance. So I like to end all of my clips with the closing prayer, which is very short. And what I'm saying is, God bless all beings in all worlds. And it is in Sanskrit and Telugu. Om Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Yes, peace, peace, peace. What we're all looking forward to when this holy, universal, cosmic, and earth realm battle between light and darkness, between good and evil, is completed. Because there will be an end to it. And we will reap the reward. So, chin up. The best is yet to come. I feel I will definitely be doing more readings in the next couple of weeks from Shelia Holm and probably other people. It's going to depend on my inner divine guidance about that. And I will sprinkle some salty clips that are quite different from these readings, but I just do what I feel to do, and I trust it. God bless you and yours. I'm sending much love and big hugs to you and yours. I'll see you when I see you. Bye-bye for now.